Okay, so people are really nervous. Is this a crash? This is a really fast move towards 383, even below that. And so, what's going on? Is this the end or the beginning of the end? And let's take a look. Now, if you've watched my previous S&P 500 updates, you'll kind of get a feeling of what's normal, where these numbers come from. I'm not going to go into it right now. So watch those previous videos. They're not very long. But let's look at where it is right now. And this is not financial advice. It's just my opinion. Not an expert by any means. Okay, so if we look where it is right now, it's right at this blue line, this 381 Fibonacci level, and you can see it dip below it, and then it got support. It came right back up, and so that just shows you the power of these Fibonacci levels in terms of what is going on. And the real question is, if we keep going down, are we going towards the 369, or are we going back up towards that 403? And that's going to be the type of question I'm going to try and answer for you in terms of the technicals. My bias, well, I can make money if the stock market moves either way, as long as it moves fast enough because of my options. That's one of the values in terms of options, in terms of using them to hedge. Once again, not financial advice, but just something to consider. Okay, so now if we look at the CCI kind of measures in terms of oversold or overbought conditions. You can look this up on your own. And we look at it in terms of the history. So where has this line, where has this indicator been? How far down does it get, for example? So you can look and see right here, it's still between the dashed lines. There's only a few times it ever reached below the dashed lines. Now, the way I'm looking at it is as follows. This move down, this gap down, and then the very fast and hard move down is not oversold. That means it could still go much further down. This could be, at least for today, getting this bar updated, right? Because it's a 1 year graph, so each bar is pretty much, I think, a day. So, this is not the end necessarily in terms of an oversold. This has not moved fast enough. You can see just a little bit of time ago, it reached, below that dotted line. And you can see it kind of recovered after that. That was an oversold position. It doesn't get below that dotted line so often. Look at each time it gets below that dotted line, and you can kind of see, wow, this is really oversold. The market bought back after that. Well, we're not in that situation right now. So from my perspective, yes, it could go further down from that technical. Now, if we look at the DMI, so this is the directional movement indicator, the red line is showing a trend. The trend is going towards the negative. However, and this is a big important point, it is not between the orange line, which is the selling pressure, and the blue line, which is the buying pressure. If we really want a strong trend, we want to see that red line between those other two lines. And so this is the bull case that, yes, we're moving down. Yes, we could move further, but no matter what, at the end of the day, we have not established a trend or a strong trend when we're looking at the 1 year chart. So I'm going to show you a few more things where I think it's going further down. However, this is a very important point, that we do not have a strong trend, okay? And so whatever, in terms of moves down, if it really does move down, we have not shown that it can really sustain that move down for a long period of time. Unless things continue in this direction, in which case then the ADX, which lags the market a little bit, then it will be confirming the market's directional move downwards. That will be a lot scarier from my perspective. Right now, we could move down and not have a trend, right? That's what's happening right now. Okay, so when we look at the 6-month version of what's going on, now you can see that the ADX, that red line, is between the negative pressure, that orange line, and blue line, which is the buying pressure, right? So it is showing that we are in a trend down. And so it's likely that we'll continue moving down from this perspective. When will that stop? Well, the trend will for sure be over when that red line, goes outside of the orange line. So that orange line will have to come back down, and the red line will maybe either keep going up or whatever it might be. But right now we're in a trend in the negative direction, but we're already at 30. Right? So that might mean that we're nearing the end of the trend, or at least the beginning of the end, I would call it. Now, in terms of the CCI, you can see it's below the dotted line, right? It went down to negative 200. However, that's when we're looking at the 6-month, not such an oversold condition. You can see over here, for example, when it reached almost close to negative 400, twice as much. And by the way, that was not the end of the move down. It gapped down below 383. very similar situation to where we are now. And you can look at the middle chart, right? The DMI, that red line was between the orange and blue line like we have now, and it did trend quite a bit further down towards 369. Now, the big difference in our situation is that the red line for us is already at 30. Whereas over here, it was just about coming above 20 between these two directional moving indicators. So that's much more of a stronger trend, or the beginning of a strong trend, I should say, towards the negative. And we're kind of at the maybe beginning of the end towards the negative. So what do I think is going to happen? From a purely Fibonacci level, I think, yes, there's a chance we reach all the way down to 369. It's scary, but I think there's a chance. However, there is a chance that 381 holds its support. This bounces up and it goes right back up where we were and actually trends towards 403. That would be a great sign. It would show that there's a lot of support at 380 because we reached right back down to that level and bounced back up. That would be really nice. I personally think that even if it does bounce a little bit, the other indicators are kind of showing us, at least me, that there's a negative trend still, and I think it could still move towards 369. However, because of how far we are in the oversold situation in terms of the CCI, yes, it could go further down. I don't think it'll go much faster down, so I don't think we're going to see a huge move down, unless this is really the beginning of the crash, which I don't think it necessarily, I haven't seen sign enough for that. And in terms of the negative directional indicator, in terms of the 6 month, we're kind of nearing the beginning of the end. So I'm not sure we make it all the way down to 369. There would have to be some ability for, to have some positive days and still trend negative slowly, I guess. I'm not sure entirely. But from my perspective, Fibonacci, yes, we're moving towards 369. Other technical indicators, yes, we might move a little faster down, but I don't think the other indicators are kind of showing us that we're moving all the way down to 369. And so, yeah, I think we are moving a little bit further down. But at the moment, unless we see a change in this ADX, we're not really having the strength to go that far down. And also the 1 year indicator has not, that red line has not gone between the orange and the blue. So yes, there is a chance to 369, but I don't see it as a large chance, right? I do see that there's a chance of us going below 380. And my problem there is, well, if that's really true, then in terms of Fibonacci, the next support is 369. So so I'm getting kind of conflicting indicators here about where we're going. My leaning, let's say I'm like 60%, yes, we're going down, and 40% going to 369 from here. We'll have to see if it doesn't happen. We're gonna have to see a change. We're going to have to see, are we going to actually go towards that 403? Also a possibility, right? It's a 40%, according to my made-up kind of math, that we're going to 403 from here. Either way, I don't see this as a strong indicator of a crash. This is not the beginning of the end, I don't think. Once again, for not financial advice, I haven't seen kind of the technicals showing that. Yes, I think there's a chance we go to 369 and then we bounce back from there. There's almost a more likelihood that we go below 380, but not quite 369. But I'm just not sure how that's possible in terms of the Fibonacci. If you look at, and we've been trusting the Fibonacci levels so much. So maybe there's some other technical indicator you can let me know. You let me know whether you think we're going down or up. I kind of see there's a chance we go down. I think generally speaking, though, we're probably going to be moving further up. In the grander scheme, I suppose. I don't think that this is the beginning of the end. I think that's very important, even if it does go further down. When we do go further down, maybe I'll have to make another update video, what's going on, and get an update. Is it going to continue in that direction, right? Do these indicators, do the 1 year indicator show a really strong negative trend? That would kind of lean towards it going down now, which would be scary. But as of now, we don't see that yet. We see maybe it going a little bit further down. 369 would be quite a bit. I'm not sure I see that in the cards yet. So 403 is very, very, very still possible, and likely over the long run as of now. Thanks so much for watching, commenting, and subscribing. Really shows me your appreciation. And I just, because we made all those previous S&P 500 videos, I thought we might make this one while it's happening in the market before we really know what's going to be the end result. Thanks so much for watching.